Oh. Good morning, everybody. It's a wonderful, beautiful, rainy day here in Portland. We desperately need the rain, so it's good. But it's also indicating the start of rain season here, which, if you're not familiar with Portland, lasts about till about June. So we live here and put up with the rain because we get 4 glorious months of summer. But sometimes that rain is really hard to deal with. But I tell you, it's pretty nice to wake up to. Rain is good sleeping weather, I think. It's probably why I'm so tired in the winters. Could be because of lack of sunlight or something like that. I don't know. Whatever. But it is officially fall here in the US as of a few days ago. And yeah. So right now, I just got this wire. And I was loading it up into its box. And I was like, I can do that on stream and talk at the same time. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. Talk about what we're doing today. So besides watching me put this wire into a box, which you can't even see because it's out of frame, we're going to be wiring up this keyboard here. If you were here for the last stream, you know what this is. If you weren't, welcome. And this is the keyboard that I designed, if you want to call it that. It's basically what it is it's an A.dux keyboard that has had its pinkies, moved a little bit. and tied together into a unibody split formation. That's really all it is. Like, it is literally the A.dux files, ErgoGen files, that I've heavily modified. Nothing otherwise too special about it. And of course, I'm looking for the yellow wire, and it's in the box where it should be. So this is the you could kind of call this the second iteration of my attempts at designing my own keyboard. The first iteration being, of course, the Abomination. I don't know. Oh, no, I do have it. Accessible. Oops. But I forgot it was all wired together. So here, I may have just broken it. But the Abomination. Yeah, that was the first draft. You can see things have improved a little bit. But the Abomination was completely done from scratch by me. Not using ErgoGen. Using tools, many tools I was completely unfamiliar with. It was a fun experiment. And it works. Well, I mean, I may have just broken it because I lifted it up by these tiny little wires it has. Which is why I got bigger wires, because I was concerned that 30 gauge wire was going to be too weak, too fragile for transplanting between boards. So I got some 24. And hopefully it fits in this board. If it doesn't, well, we're going to go with 30 because that's what I had. So, today, hello Lorenzo. Today we will be wiring this up with some of this wire, some of these PC babies. Right now I have Holy Pandas. These are the drop version of the Holy Pandas in this. Mostly because it's what was in reach when I was reaching for switches. My ideal switches at the moment are Boba U4s, but pretty sure I don't have enough of those for this right now, without pulling them out of other boards, and I don't feel like dealing with that right now. So I just kind of reached for my Pandas and stuck them in there. These are PC babies, which are little single switch PCBs. They're nice because if you do it correctly, you can keep the row and column wiring because it's all built into the PCB. But it's got room for diodes, it's got a hot swap socket, and you wire the columns, wire the rows. It's pretty sweet. Sadly, I don't have enough vertically mounted ones, or vertically attached ones, to get both sides. So the other side is going to be a little bit of a hodgepodge, but that's okay. Like, I've already broken these apart. I've probably got another sheet of them somewhere. I can't find it, but that's okay, because it doesn't really matter. So, one thing I need to do with this... sorry. And I'm going to be using a nice nano for this, because I have a bunch of them. I can buy more of them if I need to, which is great. And because if this works with the 24 gauge wire, which I'm going to try... I'm going to put it through the hole here and put it through the holes here. If it works with the 24 gauge wire, then what we can do is this will be kind of the permanent prototype setup for this board. So we can easily transport it between devices. And because ZMK has done a lot of work recently to fix the Bluetooth pairing issues with macOS. It's supposed to be way better than it was, so I'm excited to try that. So I'm going to try pairing this to my desktop that I'm using down here, my Mac Mini, and using it wirelessly. But it can also be used via USB. Anyways, because the ultimate goal is that it's wireless, although I think what I want to do and maybe it doesn't really matter, but in the future, I want the new wireless version of the Arduino Xiao to power it with an I/O expander. Almost more for a proof of concept or experiment than anything really functional, any real method to the madness, because the nice Nano is just fine. But we'll see. It's also possible that the Bluetooth Xiao, along with an I/O expander, will be less expensive than the nice Nano. But really, I just want to play with different controllers and see. I may even build up my NRF micros that I have and use one of those. Who knows? So, yeah. One thing that is cool about this box of wires is that it came with a cutter and presumably a stripper, which is very exciting. Because I don't have a wire stripper small enough to cut 24 or to strip 24 gauge wire. So if you've watched my streams in the past, I've been using an X-Acto knife and cutting the shielding, and it's error prone and it's annoying, and it's just, I would much rather use a proper wire stripper. And I just heard something fall. I don't know if that was down here upstairs. I think it was upstairs. Makes me wonder what the cats are up to. So it's got this nice wire cutter and wire stripper. And for, $5 box of wires off of Amazon, that's impressive. It also came with some heat shrink tubing and some zip ties and, just decent quality stuff. So one thing I haven't figured out what I want to do is the matrix for this. I know I'm going to do 4 rows, 10 columns, because that'll be easy. I just don't know what they're going to be, what the pins are going to be assigned to. But that will come later. And I also haven't done the firmware. So if I get everything done quickly enough today, we might work on the firmware. Otherwise, I'll probably do that on Wednesday. We'll put the firmware together and do some typing tests, and then maybe do the next iteration of the board if I figure out something I don't like about it. One thing I already know I'm struggling with is reaching for these keys, and I don't know if it's just because I'm now so used to the chalk spacing on the A.dux proper that I just need to reach further and it'll get better. These are also uniform and fairly flat, non-dished caps, so it's kind of hard to really feel. So I might put some, I might swap these out for DSAs, because these are XDA profile. Because DSAs have a little more dish to them. And if that doesn't work, I might even swap out for MT3s, because those are really dished and they're profiled, and they're sculpted. And if that doesn't work, then maybe go back to chalk spacing and just chalks. But the reason I want MX primarily is because I want silent switches. I need the tactile, but I need them to be quiet. So I can't use chalk browns because they suck. And I use robins or, my clicky perps that I've built or whatever, but they're too loud. So I need the quieter switches. So I'm going with MX. Plus, there's just something about... I've enjoyed MX spacing on, the Reviung 41. I also enjoy it on my Cornelius, so we'll see. I got a little hair on here. But yeah, so let's get started with this. Let's get cracking. So instead of bending these things to cut them or break them, I am going to cut them, or attempt to anyways. Oh yeah, that's much better, because when I bent them last time, what happened is I was breaking all sorts of other pieces, and that's why I've got rando bits like this and stuff like that. So let me see, did I spam everywhere? I think I spammed everywhere. Sorry, I just looked over and I saw my spam in a different channel and I was like, wait, did I get everything? I need to write a little script that'll do that for me. But not today. Before we go too far on this, let me just double check that these are the same spacing. Do a fitment check here. Oh. Yes, okay. Good. So we've got good spacing. There we go. Pull that out of there. Yes. What we need is we need 10 columns of 3 switches. And we've got our thumbs here. So there's our thumbs. Let's do our columns here. Okay, so there's 5 columns of 3 switches. There's 3 more, and we will deal with the others shortly. Well, let's actually do that now. So there's 2. So those are... I thought I just broke... Okay, whatever. Okay. There are our 34 keys worth of PC babies. The rest of these can go elsewhere. Oh, okay. I found the one. I knew I had cut 2 sets, but they were in the underside of the case, and I moved the case, and of course then lost everything. Great. So what we need on these, since we're doing a matrix, are diodes and hot swap sockets. All pretty straightforward stuff. Music die? No, it's still going. We're actually listening directly to the Chill Hop live stream today. So if the music dies, it's probably on their end. At least I'm going to blame it on them. Okay. Got our diode tape and our diode reel. Hello, Linux Fish. Gonna mess around with the camera a little bit here, sorry. Focus. Lock. Come on, lock. And adjust the white balance so my hands don't look quite so red. Good enough. Okay. I actually want the wide camera, I think. Yeah. Whatever. We're good. Did everybody have a good weekend? I don't really remember what kind of weekend I had. It was okay. Had brunch with my... Oh, no, wait, I know. I had brunch with my family group type up here. Which I hadn't... We usually do brunches on Sunday mornings. But haven't because the previous 2 weeks I was working Cycle Oregon, so I was in Central Oregon, so we couldn't. And then Saturday night I played D&D with my with one of my campaigns, and we had a good time. We're playing the Icewind Dale campaign, and we're just getting started. I'm playing a dwarf druid, which is kind of weird, kind of an odd class combination, but you know, I already took one for the team. I seduced the... I don't know about seduced. We went out on a date with the leader of this caravan, who happens to be a dwarf. I was trying to get some information out of her and also give my party some time to... and space to be able to capture this guy we're after, who's her bodyguard. Of course, they didn't. So the next morning we had to confront him, and he almost kicked our asses. But we managed to convince him, I managed to convince him, actually, to come with us peacefully, which was pretty fun. It's funny because my deception check was not very good, and I was faking her voice. Our bard had cast minor illusion to show her is in the room, and then I stood behind it and like spoke in her voice, like, "Go with them. I'll take care of this. Don't worry." It was hilarious. Well, it wasn't really seduction, because we went out and got drunk, and I rolled a bunch of really good rolls, and you know, things happened. We didn't get into the details, of course, because it wasn't about the details, it was about the distraction that I was creating. Plus, I'm not going to RP a sex scene. Like, that's just not what I'm there for, you know? But I did make it very clear to our DM that I'm like, I'm not doing this so we can, like, RP a sex scene. Or even a date. Like, this is way more about the distraction and potential gathering of information than the date. But apparently she was not a particularly attractive dwarf, so I was like, well, I took one for the team. Several hours of Magic the Gathering. Nice. I haven't played Magic in ages. I used to play a little bit in high school, but I never really got into the collecting part of it. Because it was just too expensive and too much hassle, so I would always just borrow my friend who had every possible imaginable deck. He would just throw a deck at me and we'd play it. But that was 25 years ago. Or 22, I don't know. Over 20 years ago. Yeah. Endurance or performance? I think performance is the better one for sure. I mean, I guess it depends on what you're going for. Like, if you're trying to make a long-term distraction, you might want to do an endurance check. But if it's about, you know, how much do you woo this person's performance, which could include endurance. She did almost convince me to tell... So we were talking, and I was like, well, you know, some people hired us to track down these murderers. And I'm not spoiling anything. This is literally session 1 of the campaign. Like, the session we had Saturday night was the second session, so I'm not spoiling anything. We got hired by somebody to look for this murderer, or to capture the suspected murderer, and you know, at some point in the conversation, she was like, "Did you really want to take me out, or are you trying to get information out of me, or something?" And I was like, "Well, we were supposed to, you know, capture this murderer," and she almost got me to say who hired her, but I rolled a natural 20 on my I don't know what check it was, but I managed to not give up the information. But only just. Draft. What is draft? Explain to me this concept of draft. Like, are you printing cards with a computer or something? So the problem I had when I first started with Magic is I had a starter deck, which of course the starter deck gives you all 5 colors of land, which makes it a pretty useless deck because you're completely at the will of RNG gods for whether or not you get the land that you need to actually play the cards that you also got, because there's only, like, you know, 12 lands in the whole deck or something like that, and you've got 5 different colors. Okay, so I've got all of these. I need all of these still. So I need 6, 10 more diodes. Really, the only thing I understand about or know about magic nowadays is, um, I saw a meme recently where someone was like, "Look, you can make fun pogs or bottle caps," or I don't remember exactly what it was, by using a hole punch to punch out your magic cards, and it was a black lotus that they'd done it with. Apparently, it was fake. Like, obviously, they didn't use a real black lotus, but my friend, who we now call the magic, like, he just knows everything about magic cards, was like, "Yeah, it's not even the right. It's not even a good fake because when the Black Lotus came out, they weren't doing the artist credits under the description or something like that, and it was like, so it was fake on multiple levels, but still, the meme, it's still funny. The idea of using a $5,000 magic card as a crafting material." It's like talking about diamond saw blades and then showing a shot of grinding the Hope Diamond to get diamond dust out of it. And really, the only reason I know the Black Lotus is because of that infamous video of that guy who's doing the, like, pack opening on stream, and he gets a Black Lotus and literally has an orgasm, or at least it sounds like he just, like, he's like, oh, it's like, holy shit, dude. Okay, I mean, I'd be pretty excited about opening a pack of magic cards and pulling $5,000 out too, but it's just the meme of it is kind of funny. All right, let's do the other side of these diodes. These are the PC babies from Board Source. I like them over the oh, there's another one that's like the gold standard. I like them because they have hot swap sockets. The amoebas. The OG amoebas do not have hot swap sockets. Okay, so those are all the diodes. Oh, wait. I was just about to throw that. Start throwing these into the PCB, but then I remembered I need sockets. Okay, I don't think that works much better than just dumping a bunch of them out. It does on the chocks because I like to put the chocks in a certain way. But these just slide in here. So something fun I'm doing this week and will be relevant to the stream, sort of, is I am Wednesday after stream, I'm going to pack up and I'm going to head out to Muffin, Oregon, which is near where Cycle Oregon happened the last 2 weekends in Ty Valley. And I'm going to stay a couple of nights there and just kind of get away, do some hiking, maybe bring my bike with me and do some hiking. I don't know. But just have a nice little mini vacation kind of thing. It's really beautiful out there, like really, really beautiful. And so I want to check it out some more. And it seems really chill and calm and quiet. And the reason it might be relevant to the channel or to the stream is because I'm leaving Wednesday after the stream and then driving back Saturday morning, but it's like a 2.5 hour drive. So I might be running late. So I'm not going to have a scheduled set time, or maybe I should. Maybe I should just go like, I'll be back by 2 and I'll start the stream then. But I'll figure that out later. But yeah, I was, 3 nights there. This hotel called the Imperial River Company. They also do whitewater rafting trips and stuff. It's literally right on the Deschutes River. It's just, the location is just beautiful. We had lunch there. Cycle Oregon did in their like grassy area right next to the river, and it was just fantastic. So, gonna go stay there. They've got nice big rooms with vaulted ceilings and more importantly, the balcony. So I'm gonna sit out on the balcony and just watch the river go by quite a bit, I think. Should be fun. I'm really looking forward to it. And I really haven't spent much time in that part of Oregon ever. So I'm going to try to get out a little bit and check out the surrounding areas some more. But even if I just go there and read out on the deck for 3 days, like, that's fine too. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Whoops. I'm also considering, and this probably will happen, changing my days that I stream so that I can have more contiguous days that I'm not streaming. Because right now, the longest stretch I have without streaming, is Sunday or Saturday afternoon to, or no, Wednesday afternoon to Saturday morning. But that really limits me in how far I can travel. So I might change to like either a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or a Thursday, Friday, Saturday stream schedule. Because then that gives me the rest of the week to go faff about. But we'll see. Well, I can, sort of. I haven't hit the 1,000 subscriber mark on YouTube, so I can't do mobile streaming, which includes streaming from my iPad, which... shaky fist. But I don't really have a portable soldering setup. I mean, I have my, I was just looking to see if I had it ready. I have my, pine sill. So, you know, technically I can solder on the go relatively easily, but I just... do I want to take that with me? Not so much. It would be cool to have... to be able to just stream, you know, set up the camera out on the patio, or out on the balcony, and stream the river going by. That could be cool. But I can't do mobile streaming. It's stupid. I can stream from my iPad using Streamlabs to YouTube, but I can't do it using the YouTube app, which is just... I'm sure they have reasons. I'm sure they have reasons. But it's annoying. Because it's going to be forever before I get 1,000 subscribers, if I ever get to 1,000 subscribers. I mean, I have like 150 right now. So if you're not subscribed, go like, comment, and subscribe, and share with your friends. Hit the bell. What, you know, I don't know what all you have to say. Just do all the things. Or don't. I actually don't really care. I do care that you're here. I love that you're here. But I'm not chasing subscriber numbers or anything like that. I'm just trying to... hey, I like doing this. If people like watching me do this, then let's get together and do it. Yeah, Pine Sill's great. I would totally do a stream with it. In fact, I have. At one point I switched out because I was having issues, but whatever. So I can also bring my laptop. But my laptop is super underpowered. It's a 20... it's the last model of MacBook Air before the M1s came out, so it's like 2 years old now, almost. Wow, it's really been that long? And it's just dog slow. Like, the quality is not great. The fans just spin and spin and spin. You know, I've got 2 different video streams going right now. Sometimes I have 3. It's compositing it. It's going, and there's just no way that that laptop can do all that stuff. So, and I'm not boxing up the Mac Mini and a monitor. Although I guess I have a little HDMI display for my Raspberry Pi I could use. But I'm not going to do that. Damn it, now you're making me want to do that. I wonder how my hotel that I'm staying at would think about me doing a live stream from their balcony on their internet. One of the things that we learned a lot about on Cycle Oregon from folks in Maupin who were speaking up on stage was how good Maupin's internet is. Because apparently they got they have gigabit fiber to the curb and every home in Maupin or something like that, which is awesome. Like, to have that level of internet access in rural America is really amazing, because that's rare. But that means that they probably have a gigabit connection for the hotel, which is plenty most of the time, until someone starts doing like a 1080p YouTube stream to the internet. Okay, so we got 15, 18, 22, 4, 6, no. 15, 24, 28, 30, 2, 4. Okay, got our switches. And I see you say, don't spoil my time away. One thing I've learned is that I can work while I'm traveling and still have it be fun. Like right before I started at Squarespace, I went to Japan for a week, and most of that week, or not most, a good portion of that week was me sitting in coffee shops with my laptop programming. And I loved it. It was amazing. Had a great time. It's being able to intersperse work and play that I really like. It's being able to be like, okay, you know, I feel like writing some code for a little bit, or I feel like building a keyboard, or I feel like whatever. Plus, this type of stuff is super relaxing to me. I mean, it's the reason I do it. I don't do it to try to make money or whatever. This is fun. It's frustrating at times. Hence the bananas. But it is definitely fun. Okay. It's kind of weird to be putting the PCB onto the switches like this. It's usually the other way around. Oh, I will say one thing that is interesting about this case that I printed up is it is hella flimsy. This is definitely not a case that is production ready. The plate needs supports set through it. I need more actual points of contact with the surface below and stuff like that. But it's good enough for prototyping, I think, because I'm only going to probably end up using this for a couple of days. And then be like, oh, okay, well, this sucks. I need to do X, Y, and Z. And then I go do X, Y, and Z, and I print up another case, and I move on and pull all the guts out and put it into that case. And I keep doing that until I've got the keyboard that I want. Custom built, especially for me. Oops. Hope I didn't just break that trace. We'll find out. We'll find out when I go to wire this all up and that's doesn't work. The floppy keyboard all over again. I feel like thicker edges around here would help too, but like I said, I'm not concerned about it at all. I don't type so hard that the flex is going to bother me, and if it does, then I'll figure out what to do about it. But I also don't think it's going to take too many iterations before I have a finished layout. Or at least a layout enough that I'll make PCBs and get them printed up. I'm putting the PCBs on the switches because the PCBs aren't mounted to the case in any way. They are only attached to the case by the switches. So I have to put the switches in and then the PCBs on them. Checking the diodes. I did indeed. Good catch. Good catch. Because those are close enough, they probably would have worked. See, this is one reason I love that y'all are here. Because somehow, y'all managed to catch my mistakes even at this, like, super zoomed out. Yeah, no, that was... These two were just not soldered completely. Thank you for catching that. That would have been annoying to debug, because it would have been probably an intermittent issue. Whoops, that I totally just bent a pin. Or a switch leg. Whoops. No, I didn't. Oh, that worked. Oh. And those aren't in line, so I have to break these. They're a little angled away from each other. Alright, so that's all the PC babies attached to the switches. You can do a little bit of cleanup here, put the diodes and stuff away. Okay. All right, now we get to see if this works. Oh no, I think this may be the stripper, not this end here. I don't know what this part's for. Maybe to be able to remove the thing? I don't know. Because this certainly looks to be more stripper, not clipper. I do have some wire strippers. I just don't think they're the right size for 24 gauge wire. And I also can't find them. Oh well, we'll make this work. Okay, so 24 gauge fits through that hole and fits through these holes. Okay, perfect. So, we only have 6 colors of wire here. We have 10 columns, so there's going to be some repeats, but that's fine. So what I'll probably do is I'll do 5 colors and just mirror them. But what we need to do is wire up all the rows. So I'm going to do Roy G. Biv, so red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. So red top row. Okay, so let me write this stuff down so I don't lose track of it. Row 0, row 1, row 2, row 3. And yes, I know that with a 34 key layout, I could make more efficient use of my pins on the controller. Instead of doing a 5 by or a 10 by 4, doing like a 7 by 5 or something like that. I don't care. I have plenty enough pins on the Nano. Don't care. So, not going to bother. We're gonna make it real easy, just straight across and straight up and down. So row 0 is red, yellow, green, and violet. And then as far as colors, the columns colors, so call 0, do red, call 1, yellow, call 2, green, call 3, purple or violet, and then call 4 will be black. These are less important because there are only a couple of wires that will even be needed for these. So we got the wires from here to here, here to here, these two, and then each of the columns to the controller. And I'm sitting here realizing I need to figure out a place for the nano to come out. Just kind of make ourselves a little hole here for the USB port. That'll work. Figured out. Okay. So let's do rows. Red. I need a good old chunk of red wire here. Now, I don't think these are going to be spaced out any more than they already are, so I'm not going to try to make these too wide. Let me see. Can I do this with my teeth? I can do this with my teeth. Strip these wires. But let me try. This is so weird. Like, I'm not really sure how you're supposed to use this. Turn it like that and then pull on it? Hang on, I got a scammer calling me. Hello? Hello? Fine. I never have, and you need to stop calling me. The only pain that I'm suffering is the pain in my ass because you keep calling me. Yeah, that's what I ended up doing. Just stripping or twisting it a little bit. It works. It's a little more precise than using my teeth, and probably better for my teeth. So I will endeavor to use the tool instead of my teeth. Okay. So one thing I was thinking about last time is I want to avoid the stuff here, kind of. Right next, well, because it's really close to the socket there. Because these are not supposed to be shorted together. These contacts. The diode and the row are not supposed to be shorted together. In fact, the diode goes to the column. So I would need to, yeah. Or I don't want those connected. This is fine. I'm going to use this as a template to bend the wires. Just the ends of them. Twist it. Bend it into place there. There we go. Okay. Next wire. Okay. I should probably just invest in a proper wire stripping tool for 24 gauge wire. Not gonna happen. Well, it's not gonna happen for today. It may actually happen today that I order it. Wow, I have 7 concurrent viewers today, according to YouTube. Welcome, everybody. It is indeed wiring day. Hello, Ben. So I kind of like using this needle nose pliers approach. Put the wire in, pinch down, use the pliers, pop it right off. Actually, what I'm going to do for this little teeny tiny ones, so I'm going to strip off one end, but strip it a little bit long. Cut to length. And slide the insulation on the wire. That way I only have to strip it once. I'm going to try it with the longer one too. I suspect that the longer one is going to be a little harder to move because there's more friction. We'll see. Oh no, that totally works. There. Beautiful. Technique learned. Oh, speaking of learning things. So I finally started playing Hollow Knight. And a couple of things. One, that game can be really hard. Two, it's not very forgiving. When you fail on a boss fight, you often have to spend like 5 minutes fighting your way through various baddies to get back to the boss fight. So it's hard to do repeat iterations of things, right? Although I am learning that the best way to approach the boss fight is to not try to kill the boss on the first attempt. Just learn its patterns and practice avoiding all of its attacks. Look for how it's telegraphing its attacks, dodge them, avoid them. Look for opportunities for rehealing. Look for opportunities for attacking. So like this one boss that I'm fighting right now, it drops straight down at one point. And I can get 2 hits on it before it moves. And they're totally safe. Like I don't have to time it. I don't have to anything. I just have to be standing, move off to the side a little bit when it spawns above me. Move off to the side a little bit. And then I just go whack, whack. And then it flies away. But it is pretty fun. Oh, and I also, one other thing is, like, it's been really hard to find the next thing to do. It's not linear at all. I don't even know if the thing I'm doing right now is going to be don't try to kill the boss on your first. Yeah, I don't know if the boss I'm fighting right now is going to get me anything that I need, or if it's just kind of a, hey, you beat this part of the level. I don't know. We'll see. And yeah, definitely don't try to kill your actual boss on the first attempt. That is indeed good workplace advice. Eh. Yeah, at least wait a couple months before you try to kill your boss. I mean, unless you're on a Klingon warship, then try to kill your boss immediately, because then you take command. Because that's the Klingon way. Kapla. Of course, once you're in command, then yeah, it's I like it enough to keep playing, but it is frustrating enough that it makes me not want to play it a lot. If that makes sense. It's like I play it in short bursts, get really frustrated, and walk away from it, and then come back. The boss fights are just hard. Not at all forgiving. And trying to heal on a boss fight, I feel like, has been pretty much impossible most of the time. Because there's always something next coming at you. And so I'll get a heal off, but I'll get hit at the same time. And it's like, well, that was a waste. Recreational frustration. I have played Celeste. Celeste is also very hard at times and can be very frustrating. But the nice thing about Celeste is when you die, you come back really fast. So you don't lose a lot of progress when you die, and you get to make attempts very rapidly. It's kind of like Super Meat Boy in that. Super Meat Boy is one of my favorite games, in part because of the hey, good job, you made it, here are all the ways you died before replays that happen, but also because it's so hyper fast paced. Like you can multiple attempts in a second if you're failing quickly enough. Like it's really a lot of fun in that regard. And it is also an extraordinarily frustrating game because it is just punishingly hard. Yes, you really should play Super Meat Boy. It's comical. And one great thing about Super Meat Boy is you can watch like speedruns of it and it doesn't spoil anything because it's not so much puzzle as just like you have to train your muscle memory to do the moves in the right way every time perfectly. So someone could sit there and go, okay, now you press A and you press B and you jump and you do this and do that, and they could tell you exactly the keys, exactly the combination that you need to make, or to of buttons to punch in, even down to the timing. But until you've done it with your own fingers, you have no concept. Because like none of the things you need to do are not obvious. It's just execution. It's all about execution. And it is very punishing and very hilarious. And just fun as hell. I was about to say, well, it's not really a rhythm game, but then I'm like, but it kind of is. In its own way. It's kind of like how people say that, in Super Mario World speedrunning and stuff, everyone hates the auto scroller, but any sufficiently advanced Kaizo game is functionally an auto scroller because you there's no like 100% perfect, you nailed it speedrun is not much slower or not much faster than casual person who just finished the level, because there's not really any room for waiting anywhere. You just go one trick to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. So yeah, so the main reason I'm using the new batch of PC Babies rather than the Abominations is because the Abomination is using 30 gauge wire, which I think is too fragile for transporting back. I'd have to fix it every time I moved it. There'd be some wire would break or something like that. Like I picked it up earlier to show it to y'all, and I'm pretty sure I would, it wouldn't surprise me if I broke some of them. So 24 gauge wire will stand up a little better to that kind of abuse. That's the hope, anyways. But that's 100% the reason why I'm using this instead of the Abomination. Plus, it's in some ways kind of nice that the Abomination just perpetually works. Because then I can be like, yeah, and it even works. You can try typing on it if you want. And someone could be like, how in the hell? Why would you do this? And I can just laugh. So I can set it up at a meetup. See you, Lorenzo. I can set it up at a meetup and be like, hey, try typing on this thing. And, with an iPad and monkey type or something like that. Just kind of throw it up there. Okay, so I don't need the needle nose pliers because if I pinch and hold here and I grab a little hook like this, I can then spin it around really easily. And that pulls it off. Yeah, I am super excited about the BLE Shao. I have no idea when it's going to come out, but as soon as I am able to get some, I would like to try to get some. Okay, no, lock. Lock the focus. Weird. Okay. Sorry, I didn't realize that focus and white balance had been messing about this whole time. My audio just cut out? Color balance a bit red, or no, the color balance is a bit red. I mean, I did get a little bit of tan, but not super tan. My voice track is absent? Or I just wasn't talking? Okay, let's see here. Unmute. Did that fix it? I hate that there's so much delay. And I don't have a good method of seeing what's going into the stream or out of the stream. It's okay. Don't let me interrupt this. No, if I can't talk... Test. That's weird because I can see the mic is responding. It's fine now. Weird. Well, I muted and unmuted, so maybe that helped. Like I muted and unmuted the mic input, so who knows? It's also entirely possible that SWB audio app was like updating itself or something. It's the software I use to capture desktop audio into OBS. And it does some kind of hanky shit and breaks a lot. They're constantly working on it, which is good, but it's constantly like, okay, it's fine. Don't touch it. I don't need any more. And then there's a new update. It's like, ah. I know I could probably skip the updates or something. I just, you know, whatever. The fact that online streaming like this even exists is mind-blowing to me. Because You know, I always grew up seeing, oh, we're gonna have video calls in the future. But nobody ever thought this kind of thing would happen. I mean, there's always been like super, you know, broadcast, whatever, like, you know, we're going to broadcast someone fighting to the death and, you know, Death Race 2000 and stuff like that, which you could kind of say is a form of streaming. But that's high budget, high production. Like, anybody with a phone can just stream on the internet now, for better or worse. And there are a lot of people who make money doing that for a living. Like, it's just mind-blowing. Nobody ever thought about streaming in sci-fi. Yeah, exactly. It's working right now, stop touching it. If it ain't broke, don't fuck with it. Of course, you can never really truly stop touching a production system, because unless you have a very unique situation, more than likely your traffic is going to grow, which means you have to scale, which comes with its own problems inherently. So even if you feature freeze, you're still working on making the system scale, which is a feature in its own, I guess. Scalability. Maybe not a feature, because it's more of a mandate? I don't know. I just think about scaling like a Facebook engineer came to give a talk at Stripe several years ago about how they use Mercurial for their, and this was back in like 2016 maybe. It was a long time ago, so I'm sure things have changed a lot since then. Hello, Jink, J Inc. Um, they came in to talk about scaling version control at Facebook because when you have 100,000 or 10,000 engineers working on a single repo, shit gets cray. And, you know, their commit history is like multiple gigabytes and adding hundreds of megabytes a day of just text. And it's just insane the scaling problem they have with their source code. They have an entire department just to run their revision control systems and CI and all that stuff. Or not even CI, just their revision control systems, because they have to, do it all themselves. Because nothing that exists on the world can scale to what they need. And it was just fascinating to listen to all these different things they've had to do to make it actually scale. Because like trying to do a fresh clone of the Facebook repo would take like hours, and just kill their revision or their systems. So everything is a shallow clone by default, and you get, I don't know. It's just, I wish that it was publicized somewhere, because that'd be a very interesting talk. Or that was a very interesting talk. As much as I hate Facebook, I recognize that they have very interesting engineering challenges, especially as an infrastructure engineer. And I consider your, revision control and stuff like that is infrastructure, because it's making your developers able to be productive and making your other infrastructure engineers able to be productive, because everyone's using the same code, or everyone's writing code. If your infrastructure people aren't writing code, they're building servers, which, okay, that's fine. It's a different kind of people. Anyways. But even their people who are building servers are writing code, because they're probably defining all this stuff in code and getting boards made up and whatever. I don't know. Well, if you ever want to deep dive into the minutia of a version control system, GitHub is hiring. I'm sure they have a lot of similar problems they're trying to solve. I don't know what just... Oh, I do. I was going to say, I don't know what just fell, but I can't find it, so it must not be important. Hello, Kyle. Welcome. Whoops. I just pulled the casing or the wire out of the casing. There we go. Oh, I didn't do the other side yet. Oh well. Okay. That look good? It's hard to tell. No, it's fine. If something's out of focus, that makes it harder to watch the video. If the audio isn't working, it makes it harder to watch, you know? Like, my main goal here is for y'all to see what I'm doing. If I didn't care about the stream, I would just do it all off stream and be like, look at the keyboard I built. And you'd be like, great, we have no idea how you did any of that. Have no opportunity for learning about new things or experiencing the frustration of trying to figure out Ergogen. And then experiencing the joy when you're like, when it all clicks and finally it's like, oh, Ergogen is badass. Whoops. Okay. Yes, they are switches. Right now I just have Holy Pandas in because I don't have enough Boba U4s. But I have gobs of Holy Pandas. So it's got Holy Pandas in it. And I just have some XDA caps from KBD fans. My end game switch for this board is the Boba U4. I just don't have enough that are free right now. They're all in other boards and I'd have to dig them out, and I just don't feel like doing that. So I was like, great, I've got Holy Pandas right here. I'll just use those. Because they are plenty good to type on. I enjoy them. And when I swap this out to another case, I will consider swapping out the switches as well. So I have Xylent V2s and I have Aqua Xylent V2s. The Xylent V2s and the Boba U4s are very similar. The Xylent V2s have a small amount of pre-travel, which almost gives them a second tactile bump for me, and it drives me crazy. They're also like $1.15 a piece or something like that. So while I have a bunch of them, I probably won't order any more. The Holy Pandas are really nice. I think the Glorious Pandas are probably better. They're a little bit cheaper. It's been a while since I've A/B tested them, the Glorious Pandas and the Holy Pandas, but I would say the Glorious Pandas are the best Thaki tactile switch I've used, and the Boba U4s are the best silent. I haven't tried the Boba U4Ts, and I want to say I have anyways. Whatever these were. These are Duroc T1 silents. That's right. So these, I think, are the main, would be for me the main competition between between the silent linears, or silent tactiles rather. I haven't put those in a board, I don't think. So maybe when I rebuild this, I'll put those in this and just to see. Because I've heard good things about them. So I wanted to try them out because someone was raving about them one day, and I was like, fine, I'll try it. Okay, so row 3 is Violet. We're in the home stretch a little bit. We still have to do the columns, but at least the columns are easy because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wires rather than all of these wires. But there are then 10 wires to the controller, and I still have to figure out what I'm going to do for pinning on the controller. But we'll get there. We're making good progress. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to tie the 2 rows together here and then tie this row together across like this. Because it's just a bus, effectively. Order doesn't matter as long as they're all tied to the same row. Well, you can always put lighter springs in them. They're pretty easy to take apart. Whoops. That cut right through the wire, too. Yeah, and the Boba U4s have like 0 stem wobble. Like here. So these are the Boba U4s in my Cornelius. And like, there's a little bit, but not much. And there is no pre-travel. It just goes straight into the bump. And it's just, I just love, they're just very nice. I don't feel like they're too heavy, even though they are heavier than Chalk Robins. And I feel like Chalk Robins are too heavy because this is my enter key, the top 3 keys on my right hand here. That feels really hard to push on my Chalk Robins, but just fine on this board. That's probably has more to do with the keycaps than anything. But because those MT3s just do a great job of hugging your fingers. Yeah, perps are too light for me. Clicky perps by themselves, like perps that I've modded Robin click bars into, I haven't tried yet. And really, I haven't tried the regular perps yet by themselves, but I've tried G-Chalks, which are a little bit lighter than the perps, and I feel like the perps are still going to be too light for me. But I do have springs, heavier springs for those. So when my Cornish Zen comes in, I'm going to be spring swapping my Clerps. So they're a little heavier. I'm going to put 30 gram springs in. I'll also have 35s, but I'm going to try the 30s first. And then I'm going to put those in the Cornish Zen and give that a solid try. I would love to put Clerps into my Zaphod, but Zaphod is not hot swap. And I don't feel like desoldering switches if I don't know I'm going to like the switches I put into it. I'd rather keep the Zaphod usable. Oh, really? Okay. Mostly, I wanted the perps on the Cornish Zen because I got the purple Cornish Zen. So I want to color match it. I bought the perps originally because there was so much hype about them when they first were announced. And I was like, fine, I'll try them out. And then like 6 months later, they finally showed up because they were a group buy originally. And I still haven't put them in a board. Okay, there are all the rows. Finally. That took a while. Yeah, I have silvers. I don't remember what I put them in finally, but I thought they were too light. But maybe with the click bar. Because I feel like light linears don't work for me, but light tactile might. And therefore light clicky might. But it's not like 12 gram G-Chalk's clicky light. Like, that's too much. Especially because it probably wouldn't even work. But, just too light. Okay, well, this one is broken somewhere. That one works. Okay, so this wire... Oh, that's why it doesn't work. Let's see if I can do this without taking it off of the board. You know what this music here reminds me of? And maybe all lo-fi hip-hop does too, but it just popped into my brain. Is the Weather Channel. Like, I know it still exists, but I don't know if they're still doing quite the same thing they used to. The Weather Channel used to be like MTV, where it was literally just weather all the time. And like, on the 15 minutes or something, they had, you know, where they would come in with a regional forecast, or not regional, but like nationwide or something. But it was otherwise just the like computer generated weather report, right? But it had music like that smooth jazz kind of in the background, and it just took me down memory lane there for a minute. Okay. So all the rows work, or at least have continuity across. Let's do up the columns. So we figured out columns are these colors. So we've got red, yellow, green, blue, or red, yellow, green, violet, and black, because those are the colors I have available to me. So I need to wire up these two switches, these two, and then these columns here. So I need red, green, purple, and black. The music is dead on stream. Is it back? Okay, let me turn it up a little bit. There. See if that works. Oh wait, I don't even need to cut a green, because I've got green right here. Do I have a red piece left over? I don't think so. Okay, well, I was about to say, well, I adjusted the levels, but then it was fading the music out as I was about to say that, so. Like, the song was ending. Okay, so I need now violet and black on both sides. Yes. That one in particular. USB ports. I kind of screwed a little hole into there. I will probably just cut the rest of that out and then slap it in there, something. I'm going to add that to my to-do list for ErgoGen, is to figure out how to place the USB port, like the hole for it. Which I think I'll just do by putting a polygon here and extruding it and subtracting it and just make it a hole. Yeah, you came in a little bit after I was talking about that at the start of the stream. I figured since it's a one-piece board, and I would like to be able to use it with my iPad, I'll make it a nice nano wireless board with ZMK. Hello, Marceline Engels. Do you by chance go by Marcy? And I apologize if that's a eye twitch moment for you. I'm actually going to sneak this under the wire going across there, I think. For reasons only my brain can truly comprehend, because I just can't articulate why, but it just feels right. Something about it getting entangled, or I don't know. You don't mind it. All right. Marcy it is. If that ever changes, let me know. Or if you would prefer to be called something else, let me know. Mostly I'm saying this because I know how to pronounce Marcy. I don't know how to pronounce Marceline. I don't know. It's fine. Not trying to be like, no, this is the name I give you. Because if I was doing that, I would just call you Private Pile. Yeah, I realized that with a little bit of planning, I might have made that easier because I would have put the black wire column wires in first and then the rows. But I wasn't thinking about that. Okay, now I can push that down there, and there we go. Okay. So now time to test the columns. Okay. All of the columns are set up. Now to figure out the pins on the controller and wire that stuff all up. This is going to be the fun part. So, we've got 12 pins on each side. Ugh. Okay, I'm going to pull up a diagram here. Pro, micro, in, out. Okay, so we have our pin out, and that is going to be looking at the components. Okay, so let's draw 12 lines. So this is so here we've got raw, ground, reset, VCC, so we can't use any of those. Can't use these two because those are both grounds. Don't really want to use those top two because TX, that line usually gets used for LEDs. Doesn't have to be, but it usually is. So we've got 8 more over here and 8 over here. And we need 14 because we need 10 columns in one row. So I'm going to put 5 columns on one side and 5 columns on the other. And we're going to mount it this way. So it'll be... Oh shit. This is going to be fun. This is going to be interesting, getting this to fit in here. No, we're going to mount it this way. Because the USB port needs to be facing out that way. Okay. So... So we'll start outside in. So this is all 9. Okay, and then out here. Okay. And then we have 4 rows. So we have 3 pins left on this side, 3 pins left on this side. So we'll just do 2 and 2. So we'll do bottom 2 rows on the right. So row 2, row 3. Bottom 2 rows on the left. So... Or no, top 2 rows on the left. So row 0, row 1. Okay. I'm gonna need a taller case, I think. Well, I can always adjust these middle wires. Positioning plan for the spicy pillow. I was thinking about just taping it right to the back, or gluing it maybe to the back of the Nano. But it could also squeeze over here or something if I need to. Although the wires aren't long enough. And I don't feel like soldering jumpers. Although I do have some fancy pants shrink wrap tubing I could use and bust out my hot air gun. If I felt like it, which I might actually do. Yeah, I will do that, but not right now. So these are in the way, but I can always remove and replace those. I want to do the columns first, then stuff everything down. Ugh. Okay. Okay. Trying to think how to route these. So I'm thinking I can route, let's see, this column and this column, this column and this column, and then that column. So yeah, let me, I will cut this to length. Afterward, but I don't want this popping out and being annoying. Yeah, yeah, Marceline. I ultimately, so what I'm doing here is I'm putting the guts into this, and then I'm gonna type on it for a while, figure out what I like, what I don't like, make some modifications, print another case, pull the guts out, put it into that case, repeat until I'm happy with the layout and the stagger and all that good stuff. And then I'm gonna actually make PCBs, and that'll be the final product, not this 3D printed case, because this 3D printed case is really flimsy, and you know, it's just, you know, I burnt a hole in the bottom for the USB port with my soldering iron. Like, it's just a prototype base, and this is kind of the guts for it, because I know I'm gonna go with a 34 key layout, so 3x5 plus 2, so I can wire that up, build it, and then just swap it around in different boards. Or different cases, basically. And then, since I'm using PC Babies instead of amoebas, they're hot swap, so I can pull these off of the switches, pull the switches out, and now it's all separated, so I don't have to desolder anything. I just pull it out. I have to be really careful because these little mouse bites are really fragile. Really fragile. The part of me wants to design a different set of these that's more like, here are a bunch of columns, and here are some rows, and they have strong connections between the columns. I don't know. I might do that.
And the most important thing is that we're able to be one-to-one, you and I, with each other at the moment.
Okay. So this one then goes here. Well, I do have what a friend of mine from way back called drinking cards, which are like business cards, but they're not like, this is what company I work for. It's more like, hey, I met you at this bar or whatever. Like, you can write where you met each other on the back, but it says like, this is my name, this is my contact info, and this is what I'm into. And he uses it with his wife whenever they're out traveling, and it's got like their contact info on there, like, hey, you want to keep in touch, here you go. I have some of those, but they're pre my keyboard obsession, so I need to get new ones because of that. Um, but I thought that was a cool idea, so I got some made up. Okay, so red, yellow, green, so... No, it wasn't quite 10 years ago. This is a guy I worked with, a nation builder, so... 2013 at the earliest. Yeah, it must have been 2013, early 2014. No. Yeah. 2013, early 2014, because he left partway into my tenure there. And I say left, got fired for reasons that I'm not going to get into that are not his fault. And the person who did the firing is no longer with us, so I'm just not going to get into it. It's fine. One of the many people in my phone who have succumbed to cancer. Yeah, I thought they were a fantastic idea. Let me see real quick if I can find them. Well, I didn't find those, but I did find a bunch of stripe stickers, including striped PDX carpet stickers. Which are super rare. These are from Stripe's attempt at a PDX, our Portland office. We got these made up. There was only one batch, and I've got like 50 of them or something like that. Because as the office was closing up, we were kind of raiding the place. And I was just like, ooh, striped PDX carpet stickers. yoink, and grabbed a bunch of them. And I kind of pepper them out into the world. There's one on the wall at 24th and Meatballs. I should probably put one on my stop sign. You know, stuff like that. Okay, so red, yellow, green, violet, and black. And yes, fuck cancer indeed. I've got those cards somewhere. I mean, obviously, but I thought they were like... I'd seen them recently. They were on my desk or in the office box or something. I don't know. They're probably sitting upstairs on my dining room table. Also, years ago when I was into the PGPs, I got some little Moo cards printed up with my fingerprint on them. So I could hand out at places and be like, here's my PGP fingerprint. And then I had a little checkbox on there that said whether or not you had verified my identification. So then it was real easy. We could have our own little key signing party just by me handing you the card, my driver's license, you check it off and throw it in your pocket. And then when you get home, you sign my key. It's one of the nerdiest fucking things I've ever done in my entire life. And that's coming from a guy who is literally hand wiring a keyboard on the internet for 5 people. I think I gave out like 10 of those, and I don't know if I ever got any signatures from it. Maybe one? Okay. So we've got our little rat's nest going here, and I need to buy more solder. I'm really churning through this stuff. Now I gotta trim these to length is the hard part. Because these are obviously way too long. Ah. I don't even know if I have any of those Moo cards left. I don't know where they would be. But they had, on the back of them, as further, like, this is really authentically kitchen, they had that, the meme with the corgi that's jumping, that's doing, like, agility, and it's jumping over a gate, and it's got the wink. That was on the back, because I had a corgi at the time. No, it's been a couple of months. I need to place an Amazon order anyways because I want to get some proper wire strippers for 24 gauge wire. And I should, and maybe I already have. Nope. I should be getting today a delivery of filament for my 3D printer because I'm out of black. You know what I think I might do? We're 3 hours and 20 minutes into this. And the next step after wiring this up is to do the firmware, which is going to take a bit. I have all the info I need for it. Well, here. So what I can do, finish up the wiring on stream Wednesday. And then do the firmware, and that would be a pretty good session. Plus, then I get to think about a little bit about how I want to do this. I'm tempted to figure out the lengths of things. I'm tempted to print up a little mock-up of the nice Nano. Feed the wires through it from both sides, and that'll give me the approximate length, because I'd let them out just a little bit. Because I don't want this to be too tight, because if I need to move the board apart, I don't want to have to rewire everything. Or if I need to change the angle on something. I'm going to think about that some more. I mean, it might just literally be like... I am a genius. Then do the other side. Oh. Okay. Okay. So yes. Wednesday. Finish wiring this up. Do the firmware. Typing test. I like it. And I am, for this one, just gonna hack... a hole out of here to put the nice Nano through. The USB port. But I will figure out in a future iteration what to do. Okay, cool, cool. I like this. Now I don't even need to print anything because this is plenty. It doesn't need to be exact. I mean, come on. It would be kind of fun to like print a little Pro Micro mock-up to design and print one, but I don't think I'm gonna develop the skills necessary to do that by Wednesday. And I kind of want to do that on stream. I mean, I'm sure someone has an STL that I could download and do whatever. Anyways, yeah. And we're gonna do it because we've got so much excitement about the heat shrink tubing. We're gonna put extension wires on this battery so I can put the battery off to the side somewhere. And I'll use heat shrink tubing because I've never actually used heat shrink tubing, so it should be fun. Cool. All right, that's it for today. Wednesday, wiring, firmware, battery, boom. Maybe even work on incorporating some of the changes I want to make to the next iteration into this iteration, like the port for the nice nano. Or even just a hole for the wire to go through. It doesn't, I can have it be a captured wire. And I think just cutting a notch out would be better than trying to actually put a hole in there, because I don't know if that's easy to express in, or possible to express in Ergogen. But I ideally want to do all of this in Ergogen such that, like, you can take my YAML file, throw it into Ergogen, and boom, you've got this keyboard. So, all right, cool. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for hanging out. This is good fun. Looking forward to Wednesday. For a lot of reasons. Because immediately after the stream on Wednesday, be packing up and heading east for a couple of days. Which will be fun. Yeah, I think I am going to change my streaming schedule. I need to figure out what I want to do. I might do Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I don't know. I don't seem to get a lot of viewers to either way on weekends or weekdays, so I don't know. But it'd be nice to have longer stretches of time each week that I can do other things. So see y'all on Wednesday. Have a great day. Start of your week. If it is the start of your week. And yeah, see you later.